probably the best looking lorry of World War I, the Thornycroft J-Type. The J-Type was designed by Thornycroft to meet a 1911 War Office specification for a 3-ton subsidy scheme cargo truck. The scheme provided a grant of £110 to civilian companies towards the purchase price of trucks suitable for military service, but included a provision that the military could requisition the vehicle if they required them. Initially, the War Office purchased H, J and K-type chassis from Thornycroft, the first 24 being delivered in August of 1912 and May of 1913, with further deliveries of all 3 types to follow, but in August 1914 the War Office settled on the J-type chassis. Over 5,000 were delivered to the British military during the war. Some were supplied to Imperial forces, I believe the biggest was Australia, and it remained in British Army service until 1930. In the 1920s, Thornycroft developed the X-type 3-ton chassis from the J-type. In order to provide mobile anti-aircraft defence, the British Army removed the quick-fire 13-pounder from its field carriage and placed it on a high-angle pedestal, creating the QF 13-pounder 6CWT anti-aircraft gun. It was usually mounted on the rear of a lorry. 183 such self-propelled anti-aircraft guns were produced by Thornycroft on the J-type chassis. The 6 CWT guns were later replaced by the improved QF 13-pounder 9 CWT on the same chassis. And despite being introduced as a stopgap solution, it saw service on the Western Front until the end of the war. It remained in Canadian Army service until 1930. The J-type 13-pounder self-propelled anti-aircraft gun combination was very popular with its crews, being renowned for their reliability, although its very poor cross-country performance was considered a failing. These lorries were also part of the workshop sections within armoured divisions and, of course, the ASC. The first one, number 14201, is in running condition, and it is in the collection of the Hampshire Cultural Trust, having entered the collection of its predecessor, the Hampshire County Council Museum service, around 1990. A second example is on display at the amazing Milestones Museum in Basingstoke. There is also a Thornycroft J-type with 13-pounder anti-aircraft gun based at the Imperial War Museum, Duxford, but how many of this type has survived? I unfortunately cannot give you an answer. Stats: Type 3-ton lorry. Place of origin: United Kingdom. Used by British Empire. Wars: First World War. Designer: Thornycroft. Manufacturer: Thornycroft. Production: 1911 to 1926. Mass: 4.52 tons. Length: 22 feet 2 inches and 13 foot 8 inch wheelbase. Width: 7 feet 3 inches. Height: 10 foot 5 inches with canvas in place. Engine, Thornycroft, inline 4, 6,256cc petrol, 45 bhp or 34 kilowatts. Load capacity 3 tons. Drive 4x2. Transmission 4F1R. Suspension semi-elliptical multi-leaf springs. Maximum speed 12 miles an hour or 19 kilometers an hour.